Welcome to Love Lies Chronicles. The key turned in the lock, and the front door swung open with a careless shove. The sound of her heels clacking against the hardwood was sharp, almost taunting. She stumbled in, half laughing to herself, shaking her head as if reliving some inside joke. I stayed where I was, sitting on the couch in the dark, watching. Vanessa had been pulling this girls' night out stunt for months now. The excuses were getting lazier, the attitude bolder. Before, she'd at least pretend to feel guilty about coming home late. Now she waltzed in like she owned the place, like I was just some accessory to her life, a piece of furniture she could leave behind whenever she wanted. Her dress was wrinkled, her hair a tangled mess, and the expensive perfume she drowned herself in couldn't mask the distinct smell of cologne that wasn't mine. But it was the lack of underwear that set me off. She kicked off her heels without a care, sighing dramatically as she tossed her purse onto the counter. I could see her smirking even in the dim light, like she was daring me to say something. "You're home late," I said, my voice calm, controlled. She didn't even flinch. Instead, she turned, stretching her arms like she'd had the longest, hardest day of her life. "Oh, relax. It's only—" She glanced at the clock on the wall. 2:47 a.m. She laughed. "Okay. Maybe a little late." I didn't respond. I just let the silence hang. She sighed like she was the one suffering. "Jesus, don't look at me like that." She flicked on the living room light, squinting at me with an amused smile. "You're acting like I just crawled out of some stranger's bed." I didn't say anything. I didn't have to. Vanessa rolled her eyes, walking past me to the kitchen. I could hear her rummaging through the fridge, grabbing a bottle of water. She twisted off the cap and took a long sip before turning back around. Still smirking. "What? You seriously have an issue with me having a life?" She scoffed. "Babe, I'm sorry you don't get it, but women need time to unwind. We go out, we have fun, we drink a little too much. So what?" She took another sip, then leaned against the counter, crossing her arms. "Is that why you came home with no underwear?" I asked. The smirk faltered for half a second. Just half. Then she laughed. "Oh my God, are you seriously checking if I'm wearing panties?" she said, shaking her head. "You are so insecure, babe. So insecure." I felt my jaw tighten. "So, where are they?" She shrugged. "Hell if I know. Maybe I left them in the Uber. Maybe at the club. Maybe in the bathroom when I changed." She caught herself. Silence. A crack in her flawless, untouchable mask. Then she quickly recovered. Her lips curled into a cruel little smile. Oops. That one word made my blood boil. She was toying with me, enjoying it. I took a deep breath, forcing my expression to stay unreadable. "So, this is just normal to you? Coming home half-dressed, reeking of another man's cologne?" She scoffed, rolling her eyes again. "Oh my God. Stop being so dramatic." She threw her hands up, exasperated. "You seriously think something happened? Do you hear yourself?" She pushed herself off the counter and walked toward me, her hips swaying like she was putting on a show. She stopped just inches from me, looking down with that same smug expression. "Listen, babe," she said, mockingly slow, like she was explaining something to a child. "I went out. I danced. I drank. I had fun. That's it. You, on the other hand, are sitting here brooding like some jealous little boy. Maybe you should try having your own fun instead of sitting here, obsessing over what I do." I clenched my fists. She wasn't even denying it anymore. She tilted her head, eyes flickering over my face like she was studying my reaction. Then, she sighed dramatically, patting my cheek. Patting my cheek. "God, you're cute when you're mad," she teased. "Maybe if you weren't such a bore, I wouldn't need girls' nights to let loose." That was it. I stood up abruptly, making her take a step back. Her smirk finally wavered. I stared at her for a long, quiet moment, letting the weight of the moment sink in, letting her realize that whatever power she thought she had over me, it was gone. She huffed, crossing her arms again. "Okay, now you're just being weird. Are you gonna give me the silent treatment all night?" I turned away, heading toward the stairs. She called after me. Oh my God. Are you serious? Babe, don't be a child. I didn't answer. I went upstairs, locked the bedroom door behind me, and began erasing myself from her life. She had no idea. No idea that this was the last night she would ever treat me like a fool. No idea that when she woke up tomorrow I'd be gone. No note, no texts, no explanation, just silence. And when she finally realized what she had lost, it would be too late. The alarm on her phone buzzed at exactly 9:30 a.m., vibrating against the nightstand like an angry wasp. Vanessa groaned, rolling over onto her stomach, burying her face into the pillow. She reeked of stale alcohol and sweat, but she didn't care. She didn't even remember crawling into bed last night. After a few more minutes of ignoring the alarm, she finally stretched her limbs and reached for her phone with a lazy swipe. The screen lit up, the harsh glow making her squint. No missed calls. No messages. She scoffed. So we're doing the silent treatment now? Cute. Rolling onto her back, she took a deep breath and glanced at the empty space beside her. No husband. No sign of him in the bed. No hint that he had even laid down next to her last night. Oh please. He's just being dramatic. Vanessa tossed the blankets off and sat up, her head throbbing slightly from the drinks she had downed last night. Not that she cared. She had earned those drinks. After all, she was a married woman, not a prisoner. If he had a problem with that, then that was his issue, not hers. She made her way to the bathroom, splashing some cold water on her face before looking at herself in the mirror. Smudged eyeliner, tangled hair, lips still slightly swollen from. She smirked to herself. Yeah, last night was fun. With a self-satisfied sigh, she padded downstairs, expecting to find him in the kitchen, sulking over a cup of coffee like a moody teenager. But when she turned the corner, the kitchen was silent. The usual morning routine was missing. No smell of coffee, no clatter of dishes, no husband. Vanessa raised an eyebrow, walking toward the counter where he usually left his keys. Gone. His wallet? Gone. His work phone? Gone. A flicker of something unfamiliar, something uneasy, ran up her spine. Mark? She called out. Nothing. She walked to the living room. Nothing. She checked the garage. His car was gone. Vanessa's smirk vanished. She grabbed her phone and fired off a text. Vanessa. Oh my God. Are you seriously pouting? Grow up. No response. She called him, straight to voicemail. Frowning now, she clicked on their shared location tracker. One she always pretended to hate, but secretly used to check in on him when she needed something. The app loaded, the little spinning wheel taunting her. Then, location unavailable. Her stomach twisted. What? She hit refresh. Same result. She exhaled sharply, forcing herself to shake off the weird feeling creeping up her neck. He's just being an asshole. He's trying to prove a point. Let him have his little tantrum. She made herself breakfast, taking her time, scrolling through her phone like nothing was wrong. But every few minutes, her eyes flicked toward the front door. By noon, the feeling had settled into something worse than annoyance, something close to panic. She called him again, still straight to voicemail. By 2 p.m., she checked his social media. Deleted. Every single account. She checked his work profile. Gone. The unease clawed at her throat now. She wasn't dumb. She knew what this looked like. But that wasn't possible. He wouldn't leave her. Day 2. Vanessa barely slept that night. She told herself she didn't care, but her body told a different story. Her stomach was in knots, her skin crawled, and every sound made her jolt awake. She had spent the evening calling his friends. None of them answered, or rather, none of them answered her. Her texts were left on read. The group chats she had been a part of for years? Empty. Even Mark's family wasn't answering her calls. Her blood ran cold at that. She wasn't just blocked. She was being cut off. Her fingers trembled as she fired off another message. Vanessa, Mark. Seriously. Stop acting like a child. You're embarrassing yourself. Vanessa. Oh my God. You're actually doing this? Are you really that petty? Vanessa, fine. Go ahead and sulk. But when you get over yourself, don't expect me to just be waiting around for you. No response. Day 4. Vanessa sat in the kitchen, gripping her phone so tightly that her knuckles were white. This wasn't real. It wasn't happening. He would come back. He had to come back. But with each passing day, the reality settled in deeper. The realization burned through her like acid. Mark wasn't coming back. She had lost him, and she hadn't even seen it coming. At first, her mind tried to rationalize it. Okay, so he left. Big deal. He'll be back when he realizes no one will put up with his crap the way I do. Then the anger came. He seriously thinks he can leave me? She deserved better than this. She deserved an apology from him. He was being cruel, abandoning her like this without a single word. She started telling her friends that he was having a breakdown, that he had always been unstable, that she was worried about him. Some people believed her. Most didn't. The whispers started behind her back. People were seeing through her lies. Her coworkers gave her side glances at work. Her gym buddies suddenly had other plans when she asked them to hang out. The fake sympathy dried up real fast. She was alone, and that was when the fear finally set in. Because for the first time in her life, she wasn't in control anymore. She picked up her phone and did something she never thought she'd do. She called Mark's lawyer. A gruff voice answered. Vanessa. She blinked, caught off guard. He was expecting her. Her heart pounded. She cleared her throat. Where is my husband? The lawyer sighed. Ex-husband, actually. The words hit her like a truck. What? She whispered. There was a pause. Then the lawyer's voice turned sharp. You didn't read the email, did you? Her stomach dropped. What email? A beat of silence. Then, check your inbox. And with that, the line went dead. Vanessa stared at her phone, the color draining from her face. She swallowed hard and opened her email. At the top of her inbox, bold and unread, was an email with his name. Subject, our divorce. Her vision blurred as she clicked it open. She skimmed the words, her pulse hammering so loudly she could barely process them. Filed. Finalized. Irreversible. Attached were photos. Photos of her. Photos of her walking into a hotel room with another man. Photos of her laughing, touching, kissing. Her throat closed. He had known. He had known all along. And she had played right into his hands. Her fingers trembled violently, her breath coming out in short, ragged gasps. Mark had done what she never thought he was capable of. He had beaten her at her own game. And worst of all, she had never even seen it coming. Vanessa's fingers trembled as she stared at the email. The words swam before her eyes, but the meaning was crystal clear. Filed. Finalized. Irreversible. Her marriage was over. Her control was gone. And worst of all, Mark had played her like a damn fool. The photos attached were damning, crystal-clear shots of her sneaking into a hotel with her casual fling. The timestamps dated back months. He'd known. He'd known all along. Her stomach twisted in knots, nausea threatening to choke her. She gripped the edge of the kitchen counter, sucking in shallow, uneven breaths. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. With shaking hands, she fired off a text. Vanessa, Mark. This isn't funny. Call me. Now. No response. She called. Straight to voicemail. She called again. Still nothing. He was ignoring her. Her jaw clenched so tightly it ached. Oh, you think you can just walk away from me? She refused to be discarded like this. Vanessa grabbed her keys and stormed out of the house. The first public blow. Mark's family cuts her off. She drove straight to Mark's parents' house, her hands gripping the steering wheel hard enough to turn her knuckles white. She expected concern, expected them to take her side. But when she knocked on their door, his mother barely looked at her before speaking through the screen door. Go home, Vanessa. Vanessa blinked, caught off guard. What? I just need to talk to. His mother's expression hardened. There's nothing to talk about. The door didn't budge. Vanessa forced a weak laugh. Okay, I get it. He's upset. But come on, we're family. No, his mother said coldly. You were family. Vanessa's stomach twisted. This isn't like him, she tried, keeping her voice calm. You know that, right? He's not thinking straight. You have some nerve coming here. His mother's voice sharpened like a blade. My son spent years loving you, taking care of you, and this is how you repaid him. Vanessa's throat tightened. You ruined your marriage, Vanessa. You made your bed. Lie in it. The door slammed shut. Vanessa stood there, stunned. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. They were supposed to feel bad for her. They were supposed to take her side. But instead, she was being frozen out. The second public blow. Friends turn against her. By the time she made it back home, she was seething. She fired off texts to her friend group, expecting support. Vanessa, can you believe this? Mark just up and left. No warning. Nothing. Vanessa, you guys need to talk to him. Tell him he's being ridiculous. She waited. The responses weren't what she expected. Lana. Vanessa, come on. Michelle. I think you should just leave him alone. Jessica, he literally has proof. I don't think you're the victim here. Vanessa. Excuse me? Vanessa. You're actually siding with him? Jessica. We're not siding with anyone. But what did you think was going to happen? Vanessa. Oh my God. You are all so dramatic. People cheat all the time. It's not a big deal. It's just something that happens in marriages. The group chat went silent. A minute later, Michelle left the chat. Then Jessica. Then Lana. One by one, they dropped out, leaving Vanessa alone in the group. Her hands shook. Her own friends had turned against her. She refused to believe it. She called Michelle. No answer. Called Jessica. Straight to voicemail. The whispers had started. And now, no one wanted to be associated with her. The third public blow, the work humiliation. 2 days later, Vanessa felt the stares the moment she walked into the office. The usual greetings were absent. The air was thick with something unspoken. Her boss barely made eye contact. Her co-workers exchanged glances behind her back. Her assistant, usually chatty, kept her responses short and stiff. By lunchtime, she realized why. She sat in the break room, scrolling through her phone, when she saw it. A post from Mark's sister. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Below that was a photo of her. The one of her walking into the hotel. Her heart stopped. She clicked the comments. Damn. Some people really don't deserve loyalty. Poor Mark. Dodged a bullet, if you ask me. Guess that girls' night excuse doesn't work anymore. Huh? Vanessa's blood ran cold. She slammed her phone down, her hands shaking. One of her co-workers walked by, avoiding her gaze. She felt exposed. Humiliated. Mark hadn't just left her. He had destroyed her reputation. The desperate last move. By the end of the week, Vanessa was desperate. Her social life? Dead. Her reputation? Destroyed. Mark? Untouchable. She had one last move left. She faked an emergency. She called his lawyer's office, voice trembling, faking panic. Tell Mark it's urgent, she whispered. Tell him, I think I'm pregnant. The lie tasted bitter on her tongue. A long silence. Then the lawyer chuckled. Nice try, he said. You should really check your email more often. And then the line went dead. Vanessa's stomach dropped. She checked her inbox. A new email. She clicked it open. Paternity test request. Mark had anticipated every move she would make. She let out a choked sob. Her own game had turned against her. And the worst part? She had no one left to blame but herself. Vanessa sat alone in the darkened living room, staring blankly at the empty wine glass in her hand. The silence of the house was deafening. She had always loved the silence before. It meant control. It meant Mark was waiting for her, obedient, predictable, just another part of her perfectly curated life. Now, felt like a tomb. Her phone lay face down on the coffee table, useless. There was no one left to call. Her friends had cut her off. Even the ones who used to cheat right alongside her. Mark's family had shut her out completely. Work was hell, the stares, the whispers, the judgment. People who had once envied her now looked at her with pity. And Mark? He had disappeared into thin air. Until today. A notification had popped up on her phone that morning, sending a cold jolt down her spine. Mark Davis is requesting a meeting. She stared at it for a long time, breath caught in her throat. He wanted to see her. Her first instinct was rage. Oh, now he wants to talk? After ghosting me for weeks? After humiliating me? After ruining my life? But underneath the anger was something she hated even more. Hope. She told herself it was because she wanted to win, that she wanted to finally have the last word. But deep down, she knew the truth. She needed to see him. She needed to know if there was even the slightest chance that she could fix this. The meeting, the cafe he chose wasn't anything special. Just a quiet little place on the other side of town. She arrived early intentionally. She wanted to be the one sitting at the table first. Wanted to look in control. But when she saw him walk in, her stomach flipped. Mark looked different. No better. He was dressed sharp. More put together than she'd ever seen him. His shoulders were squared. His posture confident. His expression unreadable. His hair was neatly styled, his beard trimmed. He looked like a man who had moved on. Her mouth went dry. He sat down across from her without saying a word. She waited for him to speak first. But he didn't. She hated that. So, she finally said, crossing her arms, forcing an amused smirk. You finally decided to stop sulking? His lips curled slightly, not in amusement, but in something colder. I never sulked, Vanessa, he said. I planned. A shiver crawled down her spine. She let out a short, bitter laugh. You seriously pulled all this over one little mistake? Mark tilted his head slightly. One little mistake? She shrugged, leaning back. Okay, fine. Maybe a couple of mistakes. But come on, Mark. Let's be real. People cheat. It happens. You're acting like I murdered someone. His jaw clenched, but he didn't explode. That pissed her off more than if he had. She wanted him angry. She wanted him to show he still cared. But he just sat there. People cheat, huh? He said finally. Then tell me, Vanessa, how's that working out for you? She stiffened. What's that supposed to mean? He leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. I mean, last time I checked, you don't have any friends left. My family wants nothing to do with you. Your own boss barely looks you in the eye. Her throat tightened. Don't act like you're so perfect, she snapped. I was a damn good wife to you. Maybe if you weren't so boring, I wouldn't have needed to go out so much. There it was. The excuse. The justification. She expected him to get mad. Maybe even yell. Instead, he smiled. Not a warm smile. Not a sad one. A knowing one. You still don't get it, he said softly. Her stomach dropped. His eyes locked onto hers. Cold. Calculated. Final. I didn't leave you because you cheated, Vanessa. Her lips parted, confusion flickering across her face. He sat back, arms crossing over his chest. I left because you weren't worth staying for. A rush of humiliation burned through her. Her nails dug into the table. Screw you, she hissed. He chuckled. Already did. Worst decision of my life. Tears burned at the back of her eyes, but she refused to blink. Refused to let him see it. She had one last move. One last attempt to regain control. She licked her lips, forcing her voice to tremble. I miss you. The words felt foreign, but she knew how to sound convincing when she had to. I made a mistake, Mark, she whispered, reaching for his hand. I regret it. Every day. Please, don't throw away everything we had. For a second, just a second, she thought she saw something flicker in his eyes. Then he pulled his hand back. His voice was calm, unshaken. You don't miss me, Vanessa, he said. You miss control. Her heart stopped. You miss having someone who put up with your crap. Someone who made your life easy. Someone who forgave you, no matter how many times you walked all over him. He leaned in again. But guess what? That guy's gone. She inhaled sharply. Enjoy your freedom, he said as he stood up. You'll have plenty of it now. She shot to her feet. "You can't just walk away from me." He smiled again. "I already did." Then he turned and left. She stood there, frozen, as the realization crashed down on her. It was over. For real this time. No second chances. No winning. Just her. Alone. And for the first time in her life, Vanessa felt the full weight of what she had lost. Not just her marriage. Not just her reputation. Not just her power. She had lost the one person who had ever truly loved her. And she had thrown him away like he was nothing. Now, she was the one left behind. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.